All right, so thank you so much for agreeing to spend this afternoon with us today, and I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I was really pleased to be able to offer this to you because I know that we're all ready and anxious for summer to start, and especially now that we know we only have 2 more days and it looks like all the kids are gone, and tomorrow many of us have already talked about what are we going to do because our grades are in and our rooms are clean. So Ashley and I have worked really hard to be able to create some things for you to get to do tomorrow. So we need to give you this hour to kind of lay the foundation. So this is all, our focus today is all about Canvas and blended learning. And so up here on the screen you can see our learning intentions for this afternoon. And let me just quickly go through them, and we've tried to put them in order so that you can see where the big thing at the end is what really is the culminating event for our hour. The first one is the learner will personalize their Canvas learning management system. The learner will use basic navigation tools in Canvas. The learner will create, compose a module to meet a standard not included in a project. The learner will utilize Office Mix to transform PowerPoint into learning tools. So as you can see, we kind of started with something that you're probably already familiar with, since we sent the email early this week, I think. We sent the email giving you the document that Kristen Barr is here from Central Office, and she put together the manual that would give us kind of the foundation of how to navigate Canvas. But myself and then Dave Andre knows that just because you get that manual doesn't always mean that you know how to do everything. It's nice to actually have somebody walk you through it. Also, the navigation tools, we just want to make sure that you get a lay of the land, that you know exactly what to do and you feel comfortable every time you go and you look at your home screen. And these 2 final learning intentions, that's really the bulk of today. It's being able to compose or write to a topic or a module, and we're going to talk about those. And then also to learn a new tool, Office Mix. So does anybody have any questions before we get started? Okay. So, how would you, just right now thinking to yourself, when we say blended learning, what are some things that come to mind right off? So you can just shout them out. We're a small enough group. What does blended learning mean to you guys?
Online.
Okay, online. All right.
And in the classroom.
Okay, so there's a combination, online and in the classroom. That would be blended. What else? Anything else that you in particular think when you hear, and think of yourself as a student almost, what would it mean to you if we said, you're going to go have a blended environment for this particular course? What would that also might mean?
Different instructional strategies
Okay.
going on in the classroom.
Okay.
Stations.
Stations. Okay.
Flexible,
All right. Flexible. Stations.
personalized,
Personalized.
self-paced,
Self-paced. Anything else? All right.
facilitator.
Facilitator. I do believe that everything that you mentioned is actually one of the components of a blended learning environment. We found this wonderful graphic that we can't take credit for, but we felt like it really gave a clear description of what a blended learning environment will mean for us. Now, if you take a quick scan though, you're going to notice that there's some of the different components up here actually don't necessarily fit. So I'm just going to give you just a few minutes, and I want you to think about, just scan it, see if there's some that might not work for us. You keep it to yourself. Okay. So, there are several different models, and we were fortunate, some of us, to be able to go visit California and see the different various scenarios that are available with blended learning. And what this particular graphic does is it takes all of those and spends them out. It kind of gives us a clear vision of the different possibilities of using an online environment to actually teach a group of students. So we're going to go through these really quickly before we move on. The first one is the face-to-face driver. Okay, this is when you have individual learning and it's performed on a case-by-case basis. Okay, face-to-face means that they're right there with you in the room, working with the computer, but you're in there with them. Okay, all right. This one is the rotation. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at what Manu just mentioned, where we're constantly having stations and we're flipping the classroom and we're moving kids around, and you may have some students that are actually on the computer. You may have some students that are actually in small group working with you. You may have other students that are working in a group without a teacher, okay, where they're facilitating their own learning, but they're doing it without an online situation. Okay, so this is the key, one of the things. Yep.
I think to include in that can be the whole class. Like you could have everybody together at once and be going over something with everybody. It doesn't just have to be small groups.
Right, and that's what we're going to try to iron out over the next 2 weeks, is being as flexible as possible and trying to envision what sometimes we may have 30 kids in a room, sometimes we might have 15 kids in a room, sometimes you may be working with just 2 students. Ashley and I have had some conversations recently about the fact that there's definitely going to be a collaborator in the room, so we're going to have kids that are going to need some differentiation. So this rotation is also one of the key components of us having to work together as a team. Okay, we're constantly going to have to be talking and communicating, and one of the models that I think works really well is that I spent a considerable amount of time in a middle school environment, and they did a lot of teaming, and they would meet every day and plan almost every day for the next day. I think it's unrealistic for us to think that we're going to be planning every day, but I do think we're going to have to be together once a week so that we're actually mapping out this rotation, because it can't happen on its own. It's us actually choreographing the whole entire 3 hours that these students are with us every single day. Or there's going to be some burnout, because you're going to have, I know for English, we feel compelled, our department feels compelled to be in there every single time, because English is almost in every single, connected with every single project, with every single discipline. So you can have high teacher burnout if you're not making sure that we're protected, and it's the same way with students. We need to make sure that they're rotating and getting a balance so that they don't get overworked as well. Okay, this online lab. Online lab is when it is entirely, you're taking a class and you're actually just having the kids do it self-paced. This is more representative of the flexible learning lab. Okay, this is not what we're doing here. There should not ever be a day where a student comes and spends 3 hours on a computer without interaction or pull out from some of us. Okay? I think that developmentally, aside from all the academic issues, 3 hours on a computer would just be, I don't think they would get what they needed. And many of you, when you filled out the Google survey, you indicated that you were fearful that maybe students would miss some of the concepts if they had to learn a concept entirely online. So we want to keep that at the back of our mind all the time.
In my graphics, this one's next.
Is it this one?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, online driver, instruction is done entirely online with intermittent instructor check-ins. This is another one where this is not necessarily the learning lab as much as it is when you're teaching online here at WJCC, we do intermittent check-ins. Okay? We don't always do them face-to-face. I have communication through either via text message or an email, or there's so many different, they show up at my door, you know, they want constant check-ins, but that's not something that we're going to be doing here in our particular program. Flex instruction is done primarily online and is supplemented by on-site personal support. Okay. This situation reminds me, an online student that also had a homebound teacher, it reminds me of that. And then finally, self-led. Students have the option to enhance their learning through online courses. This is our honors program. Okay, this is when we start creating modules to allow kids to move a little bit further because they've mastered the basic standards that we've set, and so now they're ready to move on to something else. So that's what this is. Okay. You want to talk about this?
So when thinking about blended learning, it came up through Kristen that sometimes they talk about dividing up your time and 2/3 of it being classroom time and then 1/3 being online. So if you think about your content for the year, think about dividing it up in that way, and that, like, this is my equation for blended learning. So 2/3 classroom, 1/3 online. So we don't want the majority of our learning to come from Canvas. This is just a tool to fill in those things. The projects aren't, getting the information across, or if you're going to do other individual lessons and assignments beyond those projects, but about 2/3 in the classroom and 1/3 online is kind of the equation.
Okay, so I hope, do you have any questions about this? Are there any worries or concerns right now as we move forward? I mean, my hope for this week and next week and throughout the summer is to put a lot of worry out of your mind so that we can kind of clear a space to really be involved with the students when they come. Because this is just the down and dirty of what it's going to look like and how it's going to feel. And I know we've all gone and observed and looked, but we know that our particular school is unique, and we have taken purposeful steps this year to plan these projects that are stimulating, engaging, hands-on, getting them out into the community, making them work here in the classroom. But we have to now start doing the same thing with the online tool that we've been given. Anything? All right, let's move. All right, so now we're going to ask Kristen to come up, and we're going to kind of look a little bit at your Canvas page. Okay, so make sure you have your page. She's going to give you the lay of the land.
Maybe.
Windows page. All right. So, hi, I'm Kristen. I think I've met all of you guys at a meeting or somewhere. But I wanted to show you some of the basics of Canvas. Ask questions, follow along. Like, as I click on things, feel free to click on your computer. It'll look a little bit different because what Ashley has, like, on her dashboard might be different. You probably only have your particular subject. But you can see how we've set up some of the pieces of the Link 5 Canvas kind of page. So any course in Canvas that's for this program is noted with Link 5 at the beginning. So we try to keep the naming consistent so that it was very easy for students to look at their Canvas and see what was part of their Link 5 and what wasn't. So it may be that you have a student in Link 5, you probably don't, but who's also taking a completely virtual online class. So this would differentiate for them and show them, okay, this is my Link 5 class, this is my, whatever, health and PE that I'm doing online. That's not associated with your program. So they'll see any class that they're enrolled in Canvas on their dashboard, which is what you see when you first log in. And each of these is like the gateway to the specific classes. So if a student is in the Link 5 program, they'll see all of their classes. So they'll have, I believe, 5 courses. They'll have the World History 2, they'll have the Computer Information Systems, and they'll have the Art Foundations. And then they'll have either regular English or honors English, and either regular biology or honors biology. Okay, so they'll for sure have 5 tiles on their dashboard. So whenever they want to get into a specific tile, they just click on it. So let's say that they wanted to go into this Art Foundations class, you would just click on it, and it would bring you into that course, to the course homepage. So I recommend that when you go in and customize your course homepage, here you put some sort of a welcome message, welcome to your Link 5 Art Foundations, put a graphic with art supplies, whatever it is. You could introduce yourself, put any kind of information that you would want to as like, a welcome.
Right, and what we're planning to do is, next Tuesday, we're going to spend a bulk of our time that morning setting up your page. Letting you do, writing your announcement, talking about what kind of language and word choice, because we want consistency. I would like for you, do you want to show them how to change their, the portal, the little box, I don't know what the technical term is.
Oh, in the dashboard?
Yeah, do you want to show them how you put,
Like the different images
if
there?
you want to let them do that real quickly.
Sure. To be honest, I've never done that.
That's okay,
So,
that's all right, let's learn together. That's
let's
what's
learn
fun.
together.
This is a safe zone, whatever happens in here stays in here, so.
So obviously Dave did it, so Dave, can you tell me how to do it?
No.
I think
they
I
did
can, because I
for
learned
me.
it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
So,
already like
You have
this.
to go into the course,
Okay, so you go into the course, so click on your course, so we were
and then
already
you go
there.
down to the bottom where it says
Settings.
Settings.
Oh, I do know this.
Yes.
Okay, and then here,
You can upload
so when
it.
you click on settings and course details, see, you just have to be reminded sometimes. If you click on choose image, you can choose an image that you have on your computer.
And let me jump in and say something really quick. This is a copy of a course. So let's say that you do something that's really crazy and you are panicked because you're like, oh my gosh, I've messed up this whole entire course. Then you just email Kristen and you email Ashley and they will put
We'll
the
fix it.
original course back.
Yep.
Okay, so there's nothing that you can do today that would hurt anything, and next year, the beginnings especially, there's nothing that can be done. I'm right, correct? Because these
Yeah.
are all copies, they're not original.
They're all copies, and actually what we'll do next year, the students will feed into the courses, and then we'll have a master copy and the active course, if that makes sense. And so the master copy won't be edited, it'll be what you put in there, on August 1st or whatever date you decide that you'll be done with your editing, and then we'll copy everything over into the active course, so there's always, yes, a copy.
And a lot of times what I do, and Dave can jump in as well, this is your virtual classroom. So anything, like normally my classroom is very decorated, so what you're trying to think when you're thinking about the picture selection, that's representing you to your student, and you want it to show your voice. And so you really want to think about that. And it doesn't have to be written in stone today, but I did want you to because this is more like playing. This is like to me it's like video
It's the
game.
fun part.
Yeah, this is the great part.
Yeah, so if you want to take a couple minutes, if you click on your course in your Canvas dashboard, and then go into settings, and there you'll be able to choose your picture. Oh, and our foundation's already chosen. So that quickly, you were able to customize your own. Don't change anything else really on this page, please. So the name and the course code are put in there by us, and we're trying to have a consistent naming convention across all of the classes, not even just the ones within these innovation programs, so that we can very easily see, like one thing that I found as I've started to learn this system is that there wasn't a consistent naming convention, and so it's kind of hard to figure out what courses were used to actually teach, what ones are the master copies, what is where. And so we're developing a consistent naming structure, so please, you have editing capabilities here, but please don't do that. Don't change the terms or the dates, because all of that is driven by what the actual terms will be. So when we actually have a course, we'll have a term selected year for next year. It'll have the start date in September, it'll have the end date in June of next year. So
And that is critical.
do not change those.
Because if you, let's say you accidentally do something and then you try to assign an assignment and the course has cut off, then you're cutting your students off from being able to complete assignments, and we don't want to give them any reason not to be able to complete an assignment.
Right.
So,
Yep, and there's different things that you can change. Instead of changing the full course as far as like the terms and the dates, there are things within the course and within Canvas that we can change that functionally does that, but doesn't actually change the foundation of the course, if that makes sense. So if you have questions about doing something, just email me. I'll let you know if you can do it or if we want to do it. Long story short, if you have a question, ask us. I don't mind at all answering questions. And then everything else is the same. Description, you can type a description of your course if you want to, and then update course details saves everything. If you don't update and click update course details, it won't save whatever you had just entered.
This might be an excellent time to even consider, as we think about this, for the course description, do we want to have the unified course description for Link 5 in there? And then if you have to put something, if you feel compelled, and we need to discuss this as a team actually, if you feel compelled to put something content specific, it would go underneath
In the
maybe,
modules,
you know,
or in the,
so-
yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea to do a description, a general description of Link 5, and then your individual. Because again, I think it just reinforces to the students that you guys are all working as a team, that this is one program, that your projects are cross-curricular. And so, you know, they don't get the idea that biology stands alone from English and stands alone from art. It's just another, I think as often as you guys can reinforce that, the better and the more kind of
Okay.
cohesive it will
So
seem.
maybe on Tuesday, when we come back together, we can maybe go ahead and.
Write the description.
Yeah, we could do that. All
Okay.
right. What else do you think would be good for them to know
Um,
on that page?
Well, some things that I wanted to show you are these two left-hand navigation bars. So these are where you're going to find most of your navigation tools for within Canvas itself and your courses. So anything in blue gives you the like main sections of Canvas. So you do have a calendar within Canvas. It's driven by what's in your courses. So when you put an assignment into your course and you give it a due date, that automatically gets put on the calendar for both you and your students. So I'll click on the calendar here, but this is a master calendar for everything. So you can see on the right here that it's color-coded, and any course that Ashley is a part of appears here. So for your students, they probably won't have as many, and you probably don't have as many if you click on calendar, because you're not in as a teacher on the subjects that are not your own. Now, if you want to change that, we could give all of the teachers like observer privileges on all of the courses and just writing privileges on your content area. We could definitely do that so you can see.
How do y'all feel about that? I think that's a super idea.
That makes sense.
Because then we can see, I mean, until I realized it, I was like, I'm having super anxiety with all these colors. But that way it would help me to be able to see what a student is seeing and a parent, you know.
Yeah, and it might help with your planning. If you know that there's something, like if English 9 is finishing a big paper, you might say, okay, you know, I can make my particular assignment due before or after that. Being just mindful that, again, this is one program, and so
And I really want to reinforce Kristen's period of time in middle school. She understands the middle school mind, that what's coming in from 8th grade to 9th grade, they're going to need us to be very sensitive about what's being due. And this would be a good time to remind us all that just because it's on Canvas doesn't mean it's on view. So,
Yes.
and parents are driven by view, not by Canvas.
yeah, parents don't see the Canvas calendar. They see the view and the teacher view and parent view calendar. So that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we gotta keep that, as we move along this summer, we gotta be mindful that what we're doing in Canvas is going to be very exciting and cool. The parents aren't really seeing that, so we're going to have to do some educating.
Yeah.
in there as well.
And this I think is a good time to remind you what Ashley said, that Canvas is a tool. So this is not the only way that they're getting the information. So if you have a textbook that you like to use in your traditional face-to-face class, bring it to the Link 5 class. They can use that. If you have an article that you find online, a journal article, a blog post that you wanted to think about, Canvas is just one of the tools. It doesn't have to be everything. But it is a good tool. They have their logins, and they have all of their classes there. So if you find an online article, you could post it here, and that way you know that it's very easy for them to go and get it, have a discussion about it, or whatever activity you want them to do with it. So keep that in the back of your mind as we keep telling you how awesome this is, how easy it is to use, that you're not expected to use it like Jennifer said and like Ashley said, you're not supposed to use it for 3 hours in the course of a day. Like a student should not have to do their biology assignment on Canvas and then do their art foundations assignment on Canvas and then do their English assignment on Canvas. So just, being mindful of what they're doing. You do have email through here, so where it says inbox, obviously, I think you guys know this, but it's the messaging system for Canvas. So if you click on there, you would see if you had any emails here in this left column. It's hard to see, there's a line dividing these. But then you can also compose a new message up here at the top on what looks like a paper and pencil. So then you would be able to select your course. So these are all going to be the courses that you have as a teacher. You would select it, you would be able to choose from who is in that class and then write the message you want to send. If you want to send it to the whole class and let them know that you sent it to the whole class, you don't have to select this send an individual message. But let's say that you had an assignment that like half your class didn't have in yet, and you wanted to send them a reminder like, hey, this is due tomorrow and I don't have it done yet. You could check send individual message, and that way they don't see the other students who you sent the same message to, but you yourself don't have to write 10 different messages. So it's just a little like convenience and minimizing.
And you're able to, at least I am now, I get those emails come to my school.
They do, because
email as well.
that's the email that's in here. So
Yeah.
it'll let you know that they're in both.
You can also, if I remember, I did not do this, but I think you can set it up so that you receive a text message.
You can.
Yeah.
Yep, so we can talk about like your profile and preferences, but that's the same is true of your students too. So they would be able to put in, or parents. So if you go at the top one under account, you can click on settings here. And this is where you can look at your settings. So your name, your display name, you could edit those things. But here on the right, ways to contact. You can add other email addresses. So if for your student, their WJCC email will automatically be the one that's entered in there. But if they don't use that, then that's not the best contact method. So they might want to put in their Gmail email that they maybe check on a more regular basis. Under other contact method is where you can put in a phone number to receive text message prompts. And so this is where I would say, you could put a parent could choose, I guess, to put in their student's account their email. So then they would get email messages in addition to the student. Or they could put the parent's phone number as the contact method, because then they would get the notifications too. So that's kind of maybe a gray area that you guys will have to decide on how you want to communicate that, but you have options, and as far as I know, you're not limited in the number of methods that you can use for contact. So
That might be something that I can come in at the beginning of the year and help everybody get set up, and that way we're doing it as a class, so we're not relying on the students to go out and do it on their own, but we all do it right there together.
And I had an epiphany this week that I realized that 6th graders have advisory when they're in middle school. We've been discussing advisory, calling our AP advisory technically. So during that advisory time would be a time where we have them check their email, make sure they make their, make
Check
sure
their
they
calendar
send
or whatever.
emails, so there's some really cool, so especially the first 4.5 weeks, trying to establish good habits. And the way they're going to use it is if they know we're getting it and we're getting the feedback with it. And so that's why it would be important. I do want you to think over the summer though, what your stress level is. When I said I didn't put my text message, I didn't put my phone number to receive text messages, I have about 35 students that were sending messages to me, so I just had to say no because I was getting them on my email, and I know, were you getting them on your email? Were you getting, okay. Email is enough sometimes, so just decide what you want to do personally.
Yeah, I was reading today an article about blended or online learning, I don't know which, but it said just because you have access to it 24/7 and just because students have access to it 24/7 doesn't mean that you're on call 24/7. You're not paid like an emergency room physician to be on call 24/7. I mean, I'm being serious. I mean, it's funny, but I'm serious. So, maybe you don't want to put your text messages in because if you're at home having dinner with your family and your phone is beeping, I mean, that's not okay. Because that is going to lead to what Jennifer was talking about earlier with burnout and too much stress. I mean, just because your student might be choosing to work on it at midnight doesn't mean that you have to respond to their question at midnight. Respond the next morning or to them the next day at school. It might just be that they don't want to forget their question.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll forget their question by the time they come back. So do not think that the expectation of you is that you are responding to messages 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No.
Because
No.
because they will do their assignments at 2 in the morning and they will email them to you, because that happened to me, and I was getting, my husband was hearing ding, 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 and he was like, what is that? We thought it was our adult children, but something awful had happened,
Right.
and really it was a kid doing an assignment, so just be careful
Yeah,
what you do.
it's the benefit, the flexibility that we want them to have when they have their online modules and those online assignments so that they come in prepared the next day, but it certainly does not mean that the school division expects you to do that. That is, I just want to doubly, triply emphasize that. That is not what we expect. And if parents think that, then we will help them understand the motto. Okay, so those are the big things I think on the left. So we'll go back to your dashboard. Dashboard and courses are the same thing, it just looks different. So when you have courses, it just pops out this little window where you can choose which course. Dashboard is the prettier visual.
Dashboard's like your landing pad.
Oh,
It's
look
like
at
your-
these pictures. I love the biology picture. The Art Foundations one didn't stick, probably because I was in there too, maybe?
I just changed it.
Oh.
'Cause I didn't like the way it cropped.
Because you
Oh,
so you looked at it. I was like, it was cute.
Well, that's why I wanted you all to know it today, so that you have all summer to crop it.
The art teacher would be the one that wants
Yeah,
a specific crop. I'm just kidding. So I'm just going to go into biology. It doesn't really matter. I want to show you a couple of important things to just keep in mind. I'm not going to show you everything because they told me I had 5 to 10 minutes, and I think I've already taken like 15.
Fine. This is important, and I feel like I can
But-
see faces relaxing, so it's.
Yeah. So up here at the top where it says course status, right now all of your courses are unpublished. That means that no students can see it. So even if we had students in there, they wouldn't be able to see it. They would just be like preloaded and ready to go. So right now, this tile wouldn't appear on any student's dashboard because it's unpublished. If you want to publish it, it's easy. You just click publish. And then it'll circle, it'll go green. So the colors are pretty intuitive. If it's red, it's not published. If it's green, go published. Okay? So I'm going to click this back to unpublish. You can publish and unpublish as often as you like. Once it's published and students are in there, don't unpublish the whole course. They'll freak out. Because they're going to say, where did my biology class go? But in this main page, the home page is where they'll see that original image. It's where they'll see the welcome message, all of that stuff that you guys are going to create in next week on
Yeah.
Tuesday. Over here on the left, you'll notice that there are different words in different colors. So some are a light gray and some are a darker gray. The light gray portions won't appear to students. The dark gray will. So this shows you all of the options of features that you can have as part of your course. You might want to hide some. So one that a lot of teachers hide is the chat feature. Now you guys may not want to do that. So the chat feature allows students to have a conversation in real time. So in a lot of online courses that doesn't happen because students aren't in there at the same time. But in this case, with the blended environment, you may have an opportunity where you might want kids to chat at the same time. It's kind of like a live discussion board. If they're in the classroom, you might actually have them speaking. Oh my gosh, they can talk to each other. But you could, make that light gray so that students don't see it. You do that under the settings page. You can choose what you want to show and what you don't want to show.
If I don't see some of those, is there, like on mine, I don't see it, assignments is in, oh wait, I see it's in light gray.
It's just lighter, yeah.
Yeah.
So that means that your
Not the
students
same
wouldn't,
order.
yeah. So you can also drag and drop them, you can change the order. I would highly recommend, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I would highly recommend that your announcements is the first thing on your list, and also that students can see it. The purpose of the announcements is communication. So that's where you would put welcome to the course. Maybe that's where you put every Monday. This week, our goal is to do this. Our main project is that. Your modules should be this. You know, whatever announcement you have. It might be a due date. It might be, you know, happy holidays. Whatever. It's your personal communication with
Well, the cool thing is, and this would be where it would be crucial for us to meet once a week, because we could compose the same announcement that had a checklist for the entire week. And so
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have, because we were considering giving those out anyway, it would be better to do it virtually. And
Just
we're
do
not
it
having
here.
talking meetings.
Absolutely.
Great. Absolutely.
So, how do you think you would add a new announcement?
I just added one.
I'll have to update my screen. So, you figured it out.
Check that a lot of things going on.
Obviously, just click the plus announcement and you can add an announcement. So, let's see if you can see. Hey, so once we have an announcement here, it shows up kind of like an email message. The students would see that, it would be dated. You'd be able to
Yeah, the
look at
title should be the date. That really helps them, and it really helps you to kind of keep track of what you're trying to do each week.
so then they know that there's a message there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think announcements are a good way to communicate information on a regular basis with them. I would definitely have that selected as showing in your course, and I think it should be towards the top. The next piece that is a lot of times grayed out is the modules piece. I'll give you a second to find it on your list. The modules is where you'll put the course information, the content, quizzes, assignments, really anything that you want the student to do.
Can we, before you move forward, I don't want you to stop doing what you're doing. I'm gonna, let's show them, we have a slide with some language, Canvas language,
Perfect.
Anita, and
Yeah.
then you can actually go through and show, we're good with that. And then,
Yeah.
then Ashley will actually help you actually write a topic real quick. Here's just, this is the lingo that we need to all be speaking the common language, because if we start calling it something different, it's just like when I was like, and Emily's saying I can't remember, and she used the word tile. Okay, to me those are like books on a bookshelf on that page, but tile would be a better word. So what she was getting ready to tell you was that module is the broad overarching topic. Okay, now Ashley and I had this huge in-depth discussion of what that meant. My brain says a module is like the book and the topics are the chapters, okay? That's how it fits in my mind. Do you want to tell them what you said about
So
modules?
for me, from a social studies perspective, I think of the module being like World War II. And then the topics would be like the war in the Pacific, you know, the home front, and bringing it down that way. So I think it's really depends on your content and how you teach. I'm sure that looks completely different when you're talking about art. So I think we came to the consensus that whatever your broad overarching topic is, that's going to be your module.
This is your end game, what it is, the big overarching, theme of your week or your unit or whatever. The topics support it, they're breaking it down, they're like your daily lesson plan, okay? Underneath that is what you would write on your board, okay? It's the introduction, okay? It's the learning intentions, it's how we started today. Then we're all going to have these components on our topic, and Ashley's going to show you in a few minutes. But there's a pre-assessment that needs to be done. That is critical because we are striving to challenge students. So we want to assess where they are and see if they even need this particular topic. Afterwards, there's content. That's just when you give your delivery of the lesson, and then there's application. And I know some of you are taking like notes. We did put this inside.
So one of the things about Canvas right now is the content that's in there for biology or art or the different contents, it looks different for each content. And we really wanted to try about, making this cohesive, a link 5, so we kind of want a structure that we all use. So what we did is we created in Canvas the beginning of, if you click on modules in your course, the first thing you all have, it says module development, module overview, topic template. So this is kind of like a template that explains how a module should be set up. Does that make sense? So for module over, do you want me to start going through this? Is this how
You can.
Are you good? You just
Yeah,
jump in.
we'll tag team.
All right, we're
Yeah,
on
okay.
all three, and if
All
it
right,
looks like
we're
we're
good.
just, we're all we just want this to be successful, so. All right,
So modules is your broad topic. Inside your module, and now I'm
That's okay.
struggling with the language, so I'll clarify. So there'll be several topics within your module. So like I said, from a social studies perspective, I'm thinking my module would be called World War II. And then my topics, I would have a home front, I would have the War in the Pacific, I would have, all those different pieces that make it up.
okay, before you go, Megan, when you think about your course with trying to teach them like an overarching topic, what would be an overarching?
Like the unit,
Okay, can you give me an example?
Microsoft Word.
Okay, and under Word, the topics, if you had to teach it online, what would could you break it into steps?
Page layout, design.
Okay, so
Mail
this makes
server.
sense to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It makes sense then. Okay, how about you? Does art function like that?
Yeah.
You get out the crayons, you use crayon, I'm just kidding.
Throw it, Jennifer.
Yeah.
So what?
So, for, so a module might be, value in art as far as like lights and dark. And then one of the topics would be like, I don't know.
Shadow.
Identifying value in like artwork, art historical pieces. Like one of them might be creating value with graphite. One of them might be applying value to create the illusion of form.
Okay.
And there could be assessments within each of those.
Yes, and we're gonna show you that.
But I know you're gonna show me, but
Yep.
can I pre-question?
Yes.
Is there a way for them to like upload a actual drawing?
Mhm. There's so many
Well,
creative
and the
ways.
other thing to remember is that this is just a tool. So maybe your module is on, I'm gonna go back to the Microsoft Word one because I'm not an art person, sorry. Is on Microsoft Word, they get their content there and then they come to class and they do the application, they do the formative assessment, they do a project. So it might be that in Canvas, you only have content and you don't have anything interactive for them to do. Because you say, read this so that you're prepared to apply it in class. Okay, so don't think of it as that just because you start a topic in Canvas, it has to be completely in Canvas. Absolutely not. Just like if you would have a textbook, you might have them read a couple pages in the textbook, but then have them go over here and write something, or go over there and create something. It's the same exact thing.
Manu, does this fit, do you think, with biology? Can you
Yeah,
see where we
perfect.
break down? Okay.
And I would pick and choose like some online instruction if they have to do, or an online lab, and write a report so they can just
Okay,
use this.
okay. All right.
So when you're working through a module, you would just click the next button to get to the next piece.
So if you guys want to do it, because it's in front of you, go
Yeah.
ahead and follow through with her.
So once you have your module name, and then you want to introduce your topic. So you put the name of your topic, give kind of a brief overview. I think of this like at the beginning of class, I'm explaining to the students, today, this is what we're going to do. And then I would put your standards in there. I think this is not so much for the students, but for us to make sure, this kind of goes back to our whole side-by-side standard checklist, that we can kind of keep track of what we're covering in Canvas and what we're doing the projects on. And then list your learning intentions. So like Jennifer said earlier, this is the stuff that you have up on your board when the kids walk into the class, so they know what they're going to be prepared for in this module. And you can see on here, you can put pictures in here, you can change the color, you can make it look more appealing than just a chunk of text.
And to do that, just while we're on this page, there's a button at the top that says edit. So you click that and it's going to open it. It's going to look a lot like what the toolbar in Microsoft Word looks like. You can bold, underline, put italics, you can right align, left align, all of those things. You can change the font color. You can insert links. That's the little thing that looks like a chain. It's where you can insert links. You can insert an image. Same image that's in a Microsoft product. So when you click edit, it brings you to they call it a WYSIWYG editor. It's a weird, it's an acronym anyways. So you can add all of those things, and then again, make sure you click save so that it saves all of your changes. If you're super computer savvy, there's an HTML editor in there, so you can switch it to the actual computer code if you're like,
That is yucky.
If you're-
Don't even do that. Don't even.
when you're playing in there, don't change anything of it, but you can look at it, it's like literally the code. So it's like a foreign language.
Yes.
So Ashley's changing it, so it's like literally the.
And if you accidentally do that, just click back here where it says rich content editor, and then it'll put you back.
So it's as simple as that, to edit your pages, to add information, change information. If you change your objectives for the day, they're ahead of where you thought they would be, or what have you.
Right, so each module would start with an introduction, and then you would go to your pre-assessment. And for the pre-assessment, you can build a multiple choice assessment in here. You could put in a link that takes you out to another website. You could use Nearpod, you could use Socratic, you could use Forms, you could use anything, Quizlet, anything you want. It doesn't have to, just because the tool is here to make your assessment within Canvas, doesn't mean you have to use that. So there's a little quiz in here. I put a 1-question multiple choice
And
in
just
there.
to kind of give a disclaimer, as soon as she runs through the components, we're gonna walk you through and let you try this.
We'll play it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really simple, it won't take very long at all.
So is there anything else in?
I don't think so, because it's
Okay.
overwhelming, so move to the next thing.
Sorry. Does anybody have any questions right now?
If you're overwhelmed, you probably are appropriately feeling, okay?
You'll feel better once we actually get in here
I
and
think
just.
it's really
It's
helpful.
pretty.
It's
Okay.
really,
Yeah. This is
it's like a user-friendly one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty user friendly, I think.
So once you get your pre-assessment, and we talked about this a little bit, doesn't mean that the student, if they get 100% on your pre-assessment, they may not need to go through all your content. So keep that in mind. It may not be appropriate for them to relearn something they already know.
And the only way you're gonna know that, and this is something that we'll talk more about in August, but it will be critical if you have decided, you're very purposeful, and you say, okay, we're gonna do this online. You give the pre-assessment, you either have to make it automatically graded, or you have to take a solemn oath that you will grade it, so that the very next day that they come to class, you've already determined who needs to go on, who needs to be in small group, who needs more intervention. So but it is a very critical component to this course to figure out where everybody is, okay? All right.
So, on the content page, this is where you can provide the students with information. So you can put text here. It could be an article that you find online. We created a little video using Office Mix, which I can show you all, from our PowerPoint. So this is a video that you could put in here for your students to get information.
So all this stuff on here.
And you can see,
Curriculum classroom, online content needs to be made. Remember that the content should include an opportunity to do something. Students learn by a variety of methods, and online learning should not prevent us from creating an interactive learning experience.
So we took the PowerPoint for this presentation and we turned it into this little video. We went back and forth whether or not to have our faces on this. You don't have to, you can just record audio. You could see that I could underline things. So if you feel more comfortable with students getting the content from your voice, do that. Take a PowerPoint that you've used in the past and turn it into a 5-minute video and stick it on here. That way they're hearing it in your words if you know it's something hard for them to understand.
And it's more fun to do it with a friend, so find a buddy.
Yes.
Find a video buddy and do it with them.
well, and you can see that it's embedded into the page, so it's not opening a bunch of other tabs, it's not directing them to other websites, it's right there, and so you can see, like, they can see easily how to navigate after they're done with it.
And this is PowerPoint. We used PowerPoint to do this, and it took us what, like, aside from messing up and starting over again because we looked funny and all that stuff, it took very little time.
It was nice.
Students like to see their teachers though. I mean,
Okay,
especially in
fine.
like completely online classes, it gives them a personal touch. You'll see them every day, so. But
But think about using different methods. Don't just every lesson shouldn't be, a block of text they have to read.
Get ready, 'cause here I
So I upload something.
She's already
You
doing
can even have
Love it.
music playing in the background. Okay, so then your application is where students demonstrate the knowledge of their topic. This could be in the form of a summative assessment. It could be in the form of having them create a sway. So they can do a bunch of artwork for you and put it into a sway, then load it into here.
Or it could just be take a picture of your artwork and upload
Right,
it here,
right,
like a
right.
single piece.
So we just worry about people seeing Canvas and thinking, oh, it has to be Canvas, it has to be written, it has to be multiple choice, but you can do a lot. This is just, the structure for you to be able to insert all those other technology tools.
And if you're really nervous about the whole situation, your application could actually be come see teacher, which means then they would have it right in class with you live and you wouldn't have it online. So it's up to you how you navigate this and keep control.
And that's what you were saying earlier, that you could do the content piece online and then you're demonstrating your knowledge by something we're doing in class.
Can you upload databases from Access here?
I haven't done that.
I don't know, to be honest, but we'll look at it. We'll explore. I'm sure, I would think so.
We need to see if that, because you said they're really big files, we need to see if there's like a limit to how much we loaded. You can look at it.
So with the sway, is it just, they would just put a link in, or would they?
Yep.
When you have an assignment in there, which this is an assignment, you'll be able to, and you'll see some of this when you play around with it, but you can change the type of submission they have, whether there's a choice to do on paper, there's a choice to do an external link, there's a choice to do text within that page, so you have a lot of different choices right within the assignment page for what they have to do. And then you can also create rubrics in here so that they know exactly
And those
how
are-
you'll grade.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
rubrics.
And you can enter your own.
I was just gonna say, if your particular instructional specialist at central office, if you've already decided what a rubric is that you're supposed to be using, then we can make sure that that's uploaded to be used. All right, so let's do this.
One of the things you'll notice is that these modules are green, which means that they are published for people to see. And anything that is gray is unpublished. So what we did to give you some information if you want it, is we loaded either World History 2 and Biology is, we're working on your content, loaded that in there for art and for computer information systems. We found some things that we think relate. So these things may not be anything you do or anything you want. So you don't have to publish those things.
Let
And
me
it's-
just jump in here for a second, and then I know Kristen's probably got some things to add as well. I spent a period of time writing for WHRO. This material has come from WHRO. Here's the thing about this content. They age out, it times out. It's written to a particular year with particular standards. Some of our courses have changed. Some of the material on here is not written with the word choice that we would necessarily want for freshmen or our particular students. So you need to be really careful. Also, I know the three of us independently have talked to each other at different times. We want to stress, and the reason you're giving access to all of this is, yes, this is a great resource, but you need to go through and read everything and check if this is something you really think a student would need to see, or if it's part of the course that you want to put online, okay? So just know you have access, but not everything is the way it should be on there. Do you have something to add to?
Yeah, well, exactly that. These are courses that were developed to be completely online. They're approved by our curriculum coordinators at central office to be used at, just like they approve textbooks and things for a regular traditional classroom. Just like you're not going to have a kid read every single page in a textbook, you may not have them read every single page that's on the line. It's there because, on the line. It's online. It's there because it is part of the course, but use your professional knowledge, your professional judgment to decide what they want or what they don't want. You may want them to do, just like in a normal class, you will supplement with things that aren't necessarily given to you by the division, you would do the same thing here. And I just again wanted to say that this is a resource. So that means that you shouldn't publish the entire course we gave you because it will cover all of the standards that you're supposed to cover. But that's not, this course is not an online course. It's blended. So you might want them to just have background information on certain topics, but as part of a project, you're going to teach other topics, so they don't need that module in here.
And so what we're all trying to say, Ashley's gonna give you like the down and dirty mechanics of how to do this, but what I wanna tell you, just as somebody that's lived it for a while, it is better and it keeps you honest if you're gonna use this as a resource, and she's gonna teach you in a minute where you could maybe copy something that you like, because it belongs to us. It's just like if we use our textbook. And then she's going to show you where you're going to be able to create your own topic. It's going to have your own voice, but you know with 100% certainty that that's information that you have approved. Okay, that's Ms. Bibbins approved, Mr. Andre approved. So just make sure, and I think especially those courses where the standards have recently changed, like history is getting ready to make some changes, English is getting ready to make some changes. I don't know when the science was actually written. So
It's gonna change the syllabus.
it's gonna change, so
Yeah, I
you
mean,
gotta
it's
be
a regular
careful,
cycle.
which is why she's gonna show you how to make that module be your own, or the topic be your own.
And then you guys are going to do it because we have been talking to you for a while.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
So it's, for example, in history, you have, when you click on the topic, you have this embedded in here, and when you, if you would publish that, you would get the introduction, the warm up, the content, and all this, and you may not want that. Particularly like I was flipping through and I saw closed notes. These might be really helpful. The kids can click on them and they get the fill in the blank notes. That might be helpful for a student who's struggling, who needs some more support. But I probably wouldn't want all of my students using that. So all you do is you just copy and paste into a new module. So just keep in mind you can do it with pictures too. We can embed videos, and I can help you individually with that. But when you create a module, you're going to click on your modules tab. You're going to click this plus button up here. It is moving very slowly right now. And then you could name your module. So I'm just going to say practice. That's going to give you,
Yeah, I'm gonna,
it shoots it to the bottom. So you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and here you see practice. It's going to give you that big heading. The one thing that I learned is if you click on this gear, you can say move to, and then you can shoot it up to the top. So I'm going to put it above the very first module. So now anything I'm working on, I like it up where I can see it. Here, to add different things to your module, you're going to click this plus button. And this is where you can pick whether you're adding a quiz, a file, a content page. The page is where I wrote like introduction and I put my learning intentions, all that. That was a content page. So I just say I want to make a new content page. I click add item.
It wants you to put a name.
It wants a name. Thank you.
Oh, no, well, what I was gonna say, my students.
And now I've added my example content page. I click on that, and then I click edit, and I get to that WYSIWYG, and here's where you can type in your content, you can put in your links, you can put in your videos, anything you like. Once you put something in there, click save, and then I can go back to my modules. And here's my example. One of the things that I've noticed is you'll see anytime there's something that students have to do, like complete like an assignment or a quiz, they indent them. So you'll see like this is an introduction, this is just text that they read. Then they indented this because this is something that they had to answer and complete. And then this is content, and then here's the application, the assignment they had to complete. So when you make your new quiz.
Oh, and I'm sure I will be able to.
I say new quiz,
Mhm.
I put the name. And then down here it says indentation, it says don't indent level 1, add item. And I know Jennifer, you can speak to this, that your students kind of knew that if something was moved in, that's the thing to do.
There is, yeah, let me just say, you're gonna have some really quick thinking kids, and they're gonna quickly find out that, oh, the things that are indented are the things that I have to do, those are the things I get graded on, so do I really need to write the things that are indented? So, just really be careful about, talking to them and making sure that you reinforce that you don't do busy work, okay? They'll catch on, but they will go to the indented thing first, all the time.
And remember that after you make these, if it's gray, the kids can't see it. So you need to push this little cloud to publish it. When it's green, they can see the assignment. So if a student comes and says, I can't see my assignment, check to make sure that everything's published. Any
Did everybody
questions
get that?
so far?
Shall we look through them, check, what is this sentence?
And I don't know whose class I'm playing in world history, I'm sorry.
So.
Oh yeah, this is actually cool.
I'm confused
Some of the stuff on
about
history is actually
the
really
module
It is.
versus
Some of it's
topic.
good, some not so
Some of
good.
it's just.
Yeah. Some of it is.
No,
really
you're,
good,
no,
some- I didn't edit this,
so
I edited World 1.
on
Yeah, because you're entertained, so.
World 2, I
practice
had
is
to
the module.
change.
Example is the topic.
Yeah.
And
World
then I think
1,
under
I
example
changed a lot of
is
that.
all of
A
this,
couple
whatever
years ago, but
you
I
said.
don't know.
They can put in.
Introduction,
I created
assessment,
that.
pre-assessment,
Yeah.
content, and execution.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way to copy like this topic template module and then
Yeah, I mean,
edit
some of
it?
it's okay, but I mean, I use this for my students now,
And
So
actually
you
use
need
it
one like
as
Some
a-
of it, like,
so
at-
they just need a different.
Yeah, like,
but I don't have
copy
to
it
change
and
it.
then,
But it was,
like, just make it
I think next week will be
If you click
Yeah.
on choose topic.
helpful. If you have some time to sit
Yeah,
down
well,
because, yeah.
Did you figure out how to do that?
I already created. So,
Oh, awesome. Okay.
I got this link
This is
over
probably
here.
your science brain things.
Jennifer, is there an easy way, other than to go into settings and pull it again, to copy this template so that she, like,
I
they
just
could
wanted to
essentially
start out with it
and then like fill it in as they go, you know what I mean? Like making multiple copies of this and then just keep changing the.
So you're asking to copy the module. I've never done that. But
So what I did was I went to settings and I went to,
well, there's copy this course.
oh, welcome. So this is, it came from world history, that's where I created it. So I'm under it. Maybe a first impression.
Do you know if you can copy a module, like, what Molly would like to do is just start out with the template and then she would just go and fill in each of the. Is there a way to copy a module down, just duplicate it over and over down? I don't know.
Like I can pull it from one course and put it in there, but can we, within the
Inside.
course, copy?
Yeah, I'm sure that you can. We'll just look at it. Otherwise, we can just import it a couple of times. Like, we can just go into the settings.
Like, I can-
and
That's
import
something
it.
we can do Tuesday, and if you're
Yeah.
available Tuesday, we're more than welcome to come back.
I'll be in Wisconsin
Oh,
on Tuesday.
no, oh, that's right, you are going to.
Yeah,
I do
my-
remember that. You're allowed,
Yeah,
you're allowed.
there's the guides, that you can search the Canvas guides,
Oh, that's
Mhm.
true.
which is really,
Under the help.
which is
Yeah,
really,
under help.
really helpful. There's a lot in there that you can just search, like type in your question, and a lot of times you'll be able to find
No, we didn't.
your answer.
So let's see.
Well, that's what it is.
So actually, do you recommend I hide this stuff that doesn't apply or
Yes.
delete it?
No, just hide it, because I think that's what you would suggest.
Just keep it unpublished.
Yeah, just.
Is it not related to your course at all? Because we didn't pull a whole course for you, that was just random stuff.
Yeah, if your stuff doesn't apply at all, you can
But
delete it. But then you just wouldn't have it if you would decided you wanted it back. I mean, we could find it eventually in the comments, but.
It's more bothersome for you than it is for the student. The student doesn't see it, you don't publish it. So So it's more about scrolling up and down and skipping all this stuff you're not going to see. All of us are going to have to do that. Do you see? I mean, you just want to have this.
Actually,
So that
I see a lot of other work done by somebody else on June 6th on that page. You see so many modules here already.
So you may.
That's because we pulled them in for you.
Oh, you did? Because I just created this one now.
Mm-hmm.
I created this one, I split it online.
Oh, nice.
And then I did a free.
I mean, but then I probably just add, I was just thinking of it's not, if it's not a big deal, though, it doesn't seem like it's that hard.
So I created link cells and then I did
Nice.
free assessment on cells.
Yeah, what is
You
this?
told me
I can still edit like this is the module.
So would you have them answer these, how would they
On a
answer
bit,
these?
I have it. Please click on the link and answer the following multiple choice questions.
But here's
Okay, let me mention,
Yep,
So they
let
go
me
on the
mention
link
something
and they
really
go.
important.
yep, yeah.
And if I have to create a quiz, I know I can create that
Right,
one.
and here's the thing, there are
Okay.
some websites, there's a website that I can show you
Depending on
that
how you think of your
you
module,
can
your module
put
could
that
be
PDF
broken up
into,
into several
you
topics, it could be
can-
5 topics.
It's just like fill in like things.
So
you can
let's
create
say you have
Oh,
a
yeah,
student
the
that
online
comes
quiz and
in
tests.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
is already
Across the
familiar
test.
with the module.
Yeah, but
right?
if you want
Already
that
knows
particular
what you're gonna talk
one.
about.
is
I
that-
just
You're
did
gonna have
this.
to
Okay,
individually
okay,
decide
okay, yeah.
You remember you
your
said that
discipline.
do something
You're
which is
gonna
not
have
related
to
to
assessment for an
classes.
entire
Yeah,
module.
So I can delete
And
it
they can
later.
test out of
So
the
if you
whole
go to
entire thing,
modules,
all the topics. Does that
And
make sense?
what you're
Because
probably
that, if
seeing
you
is
look
if
at
you
your, I
scroll
don't think
down-
your strength like ours, but is it, does she have like,
These are all things
See, here's
that
her
have
module.
come from the
Yeah.
biology course.
Yeah.
there's the
Already
module,
done
and
by
her
teachers.
top, see how
Already
many
done
topics it goes
by
all the way
So I
down.
can
doing
keep
your own.
it.
So you can
Like,
keep it or you can go in and maybe
But I think
like
each
one
yeah.
topic
one
tends
copy of
Well,
it.
you can rearrange.
But
it
as
throughout.
long as
Yeah.
it's, so this
Yeah.
is
That's why we've gotta
be able to
do-
Yeah.
see it.
That's why I
So
really
the
want you
rest
all
is
to
not
just condition
published.
yourselves
Right,
to
yeah.
copy what you want and put it in.
So, and this is not your whole
And
course.
remember
Because
that
right
you
now
might
in
do a mini
biology,
lesson
as I
on
was
these
telling you
things in
before,
class, and they're not even gonna come to
the
Canvas for
links
it
in the biology
at all,
course
so then you
aren't
just
working.
leave that.
So Canvas is fixing that. So
What is not
once,
working?
so when you go into a module, they have like embedded links to take you
Oh
to
yeah,
videos
and some of
fix
them is
where
not
you put
working,
them.
yeah, so
So
you're not
Canvas-
authorized.
So, right,
It
so
still
Canvas
says
is
it's
fixing
on.
that. Once it's all fixed, we're gonna load all that content in here. So you have it to look at and you can sort
Okay,
it.
something
Your computer course
Yeah.
confused the
That's
class.
what I
But
was,
it's like
like
this
this
one,
one, the
like-
quiz over here,
Yeah,
doesn't work.
no,
Like,
I'm not, I thought I was like taking things that were
No,
pre-made.
yeah, I
It
will
doesn't,
not.
But
I can't work
I
with
can't,
it.
because I
Yeah.
have my own structure.
Right.
I know what you want
This
it
is
to
what
be,
I
so.
got there, there's like, and I shall fix it that out there for the thing.
So how does Office 365 work with Canvas? Is that new? Is it doing it or not?
You can use it.
So these.
Yeah, it should, and there's OneNote, so like there's
Yeah.
class
Modules
modules,
or
you can
units.
OneNote.
That teachers are all.
So
it-
Yeah,
it
so
would
they
say-
want to do the
so they
project,
could bounce back and
small,
forth
get the project, dogs to show them.
Their class notebook would be part of this,
And
yeah.
what standards I'm going to do,
We should look at,
and the
I
description of
didn't
the
have to do
standards.
that with this year, but
And
next
then
year.
next one I'm going to do is one topic on the
I don't know
We should look
that,
at
I know of
those
any
too.
teacher that
Remember we
uses
looked at
that function.
I don't
Most
think
of
it
them
was
hit
there
it.
now. Was it
That's a
everything?
nice
Because I one day I was down and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Before that.
Yeah, I don't know
yeah,
if it was
where-
early or not.
right,
remember they had this
Well, I
was thinking
ratio,
people already have,
yeah.
Right.
like if I was.
like we should
Yeah.
figure out how this math works, because this looks like it's
Right.
four.
What I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah.
So
It's
I'm
helpful.
on
Well, and I think as a teacher, you need that too, like you need that organization.
my
to be
master's,
able to see
yeah,
And
this
if we
is
can
what I
find some
got.
other
Yeah.
apps that we can
So
all
that I'm not being
Yes.
then that would be great.
Yep.
Because
And
I
then
never
you
use
can-
any of
And then
these,
exactly
But
every
that might be
objective
good.
on.
There's so
the
many
page.
Right.
more things to do.
I will check out.
Yep.
So I have this one.
I mean, we didn't get any,
Right.
No.
we didn't really get
This is
any.
what I worked in this.
So do you feel comfortable with all this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
got this on.
Okay,
We basically
Did you teach
learned how to
it?
log in.
I teach, but I don't know.
okay,
So.
that's good. Like,
Just.
that's
It was
good.
Good, I think,
But now I'm going to do it, maybe I'm going all this somewhere.
Oh, you mean she
No, but
left
she
the
left
train?
the train.
Difference and everything.
Yeah, like we were there all day, but she was there,
Right, but
like, which is fine, I mean, it's not like,
And there are adults that don't.
yeah, we were able to figure it out. It took me, because I was
Yeah,
camping.
so like some, and one thing we want is we want.
It's not too much trouble.
So we want,
That's
we
Yeah.
don't want history to be, I mean, it's been great for
Yeah.
English, but it's
We
not.
struggled.
That's
I'm halfway
what-
there.
What I would do is I would
That's
go
what this is.
through and anything you might.
Well,
do
that's why, like,
online,
I've already written like
publish it,
teacher.
And then I have a
and
grade
then
journal too.
Basic stuff.
So there's no one grade
you
we
have
have
to do.
That's nice.
A grade
So they keep track of
So
it.
they keep track of it.
That's good. That way they aren't surprised.
Like comments.
And what I missed and what I
But I
missed.
Yeah.
Because the absence is a big problem here. I was absent for that.
And so it's like logging in with a regularity, posting.
It may keep some
regularity,
regulars,
you know, like, and it all just matches like the theme that we want to emphasize too with our whole like program. Not this particular program, but it's still part of the regular high school.
Yes.
So if your regular high school says you have to put a graded view every week, then
All right, you guys, listen, what we want is,
Do you want to do it today or do you want to?
we can take a vote in just a second. This is what we would like for you to do, okay? You now know how to create a topic within a module. So we want you to scan your standards that aren't in a project, something that you know you might. I want you to do something that's useful, so pick something that you possibly will use as using Canvas as the vehicle to teach it, okay? So find a standard, and then over the next few days, all until Tuesday, just put something together, okay? So it can be, you know, as simple as just writing your overview, writing a couple of learning intentions, doing a pre-assessment. And you do not have to go through the process of creating the whole pre-assessment, but practice doing, like, putting content there. Did you go over, I had a quiz on
I just want
Did you do any of the content part?
Um,
And get it into, like, copy and paste?
I showed them that you can copy and paste, and then I showed them how to create a new page, and it can be a content page or a quiz page.
All right, so, I'm good with moving on. What I was gonna say is tomorrow, what is today? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow and Friday, I'm around and Ashley's around. I'm probably more available than Ashley, where I can sit and actually help you walk through and do your module really fast, or your topic for your module quickly, so that you'll have it for Tuesday and you don't have to worry about it, okay? And we're only really asking for four separate items, okay? So if you don't remember how to do it, Kristen had the guide that she put together, so you can look through there. You can come see me tomorrow. I'm literally going to be sitting in here the whole day I did everything, so I just have,
I will be in my office waiting for you to hand in iPads.
okay. And rescuing people with you.
Yes.
So we can all work in here, that's an option as well. Now, Office Mix is the tool that we put together yesterday that took it really did take about 2 minutes. It was more us saying, you want to talk? No. You want to talk? No. Okay, fine, I'll talk. Okay, so, do you want to learn how to do that real quick, just to see what the process is? Okay, all right, so let's,
Okay. Has anybody used
And then-
Office Mix before?
It doesn't count.
So, I want you to open up your PowerPoint. Open PowerPoint. And I need to know if you see a tab called Mix. I'm assuming you all don't, since you never used it before, but you never know. So just open a blank PowerPoint, or open a PowerPoint that you have. You don't have it? Yeah. If you don't see Mix at the top, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the Start menu. and you're going to click on search, and you're gonna look for, let's just go to all programs. You're gonna find the Microsoft System Center. Click on that folder, and then you wanna click on the Software Center. So it's down in the folders, it's a folder called Microsoft System Center and then Software Center. Click to open the Software Center. Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay. And then in the Software Center, you should find Office Mix for PowerPoint 2016. Go all programs. It should say Office Mix 2016, and you're going to install that. It might ask you to close PowerPoint. Yep. Find Office Mix or nope, cancel. It's 2013, we want 2016, so go back to applications. And we want this one. Now install. Once you install that, when you open PowerPoint, you should have this tab called Mix.
They're so proud of you.
Got it? Let's two together. Did it work?
They did install it.
Still installing.
Or yes, yes.
Do you have it already?
Said something that I was looking at it and
Oh, status installed.
Yeah, so it should be.
why does it say reinstall?
Just close that.
Just close it now?
Yep. And then exit out of PowerPoint and open it again. And the Mix tab should be there. Alright, now let me see if I can do this without freezing my computer down. Alright,
Alright, so what's next?
is your Mix tab there?
Mhm.
Okay, so Mix can do a couple things. It can turn your PowerPoint into a video, which is what we did, or it can turn it into an Office Mix, which is a video that will pause at certain points, and you can throw a multiple choice question in there, you can insert, there's different apps that you can put in there. So I'm going to show you how to make a video first, and then I will show you an example of a mix. So the cool thing about this is you can record either the slide, like we did, or you can actually record your whole screen. So if you have to give a tutorial on how to get to something, I can literally record myself saying, go to the Start menu, click on Google Earth, and I can show students how to get to something. So here is the recording I just made. Click on Google Earth, and I can show students how to get to something.
Yeah, that's really great news.
Come on. Okay. So it puts it right into my PowerPoint slide, so I can show them, and this might be really good for you when you're recording, like what you need to do in Word or PowerPoint or Excel. it puts it right in there for you. And all I did was under mix, I clicked on screen recording. It's going to let me select an area, so if I just want to show them a little piece of my screen, I can, or if I want to show them the whole screen, I can. I can record then by pushing the record button. The thing that I always fumble with is once you start recording, this whole toolbar goes away, and I can never get to the stop. So the end of all my videos have like 2 minutes of me trying to find the stop button.
Where is it? Where's the recording button? I
So
don't see
when
it.
I start screen recording, the record is here. It's gonna count down for me. And then, if I move my
Can you
mouse
see the
away, it
record button
disappears.
here?
All I have to do is take my mouse up to the center again, and it will pop down. But for some reason, while recording, I always forget that. If I don't like it, I just click on it, and I click delete, and it's gone.
So be careful.
Just take me
Because if you do like it and then you click delete on accident.
Oh, then all you do is click undo, and it comes back.
But that's true, you can.
That'd be great for like info.
Yes.
Well, no, I don't sure where.
So you need to click on the mix tab,
Absolutely, like a regular class meeting.
and then it would be,
I mean,
so that's,
Absolutely.
okay, so you're using an older version of PowerPoint, so it's gonna ask you to save it differently.
This is also a good way.
So I'm gonna be
Like
in
in
a mix
or
tab.
accent kids.
Yeah.
In a traditional classroom, like you can just record what you do and then
So that's
in video.
one thing you can do. So that just records your whole screen. You don't have to be in PowerPoint. If I want to record my slide and I want to record my presentation, I click slide recording. It freaks out for a minute, but then it gives me this. So it takes a little while to get comfortable with the tools, particularly with drawing. But I can choose to have my video in here, so I can say no camera, or I can have myself in there. Hi. I hate that.
Right up your nose.
Yep. Amanda knows. She had a kid who recorded herself, and it was like the iPad was under there, and all you saw was her nose. So this will record my voice. When I push record, I can talk right now. You can see it's recording in the top. I can select different colors, and I can circle things. I can make little notes, and I can click to go to the next slide. And I can do this all as one video. One of the things that you'll find is if I'm talking while I'm clicking, you're gonna miss some of my words. It's gonna break it apart. So when you're ready to click to the next slide, you wanna pause, click, and then start talking again, because it will cut you off. When you're finished, you push stop, and then it turns it into the recording. You can preview what you did, click, and then start talking again. Okay? When I close this, you'll see that at the top of each of your slides, you'll see this little audio button. So you can go back and you can listen to what did I say on this slide. I can talk right now. Okay. If you don't like it, you can delete it. You can then take this and you can export it as a video, which is what we did. So it just turns it into an MP4 that you save on your computer. Or you can publish it to Office 365. So you would, let me show you, I have a one that I made that's a little bit more beautiful than me just explaining everything. So on a side note, in Office 365, I created a folder that's shared between all of us so that you probably got an email about it. Give me a second here. Where am I? In there, I put a folder called like resources. So technology resources, the Canvas information that I emailed to you that Kristen made is in there as well. But when you save it as an Office mix, it's going to ask you to sign into Office 365. All your students have an Office 365 account. And it's a school account. Make sure you don't sign in with a personal account. So this is one I made. This is an office mix. This is not a video. And you'll see along the bottom, there's like stopping points. So I made this on the Great Depression.
We've been talking about the Jazz Age, but today we're going to look at the Great Depression.
Hate how I sound on recording.
Why don't you take a minute, 10 years to feel, look at some of the details. Now, 10 years later in the 1930s,
So these are where I'm going
take a
from
look at
slide to
this.
slide, and then you can ask questions. So when they watch the video through, they get to this point, this question is going to be here. And then you need to write down a response. This I had already done, so my response was here. It says I submitted it. But your students can go through. You can do a little bit of instruction through PowerPoint. You've recorded your voice. You get to a point and you have a couple of checks for understanding, some questions. And when you're done with this, it gives you a nice little data printout that you can see how the students did on it. So it's a really good formative assessment tool.
That'd be great for your art, the value of art.
So I know we're running out of time, and this was really quickly, but I wanted to show you that this is all in PowerPoint. You can make a basic video, or you can make a mix. You can, to make those questions, let me just show you how to do that real quick. You go to quizzes or videos apps, and then you can add a multiple choice question. You can add a poll response. There's all kinds of different, there's stuff from Khan Academy that you can put in here. So there's all different things that you can pull in and include in an office mix. An office mix is going to take you to their website. So you can get a link and the students can log in. You want them to log in so you can see who's done what. Help me remember, doesn't office mix show you how long they've spent on each slide? So if
On
I
each slide
see-
in the overall presentation. Mhm.
So if I see that they were only in there for a minute and just like answer the multiple choice, I know they didn't actually go through all the content. So you can get all those kinds of reports, and I can show you all that. It's a lot at once, but I want to show you this is a possibility, and I'm happy to sit down with you. And
I just want a quick mention too, I know, on this page that she's at, she actually has added things already, so they're on her apps. When you log in for the very first time into Mix, you won't have those question choices. Just go to the right and click on Store. That's where you'll have the things to add to your page. So if you don't see them right away, click on Store and you'll have the same options. I just didn't want you to go in there and get frustrated
that's true.
because
I
you
forgot
didn't
I did
have,
that so long ago.
you do it so long that we forget. So it's in that, so like yours is probably gonna be empty if you just click on Store. Oh no, it wasn't even empty.
Oh, it was, I clicked on
Oh.
store. I was listening. I did, I'm
Perfect.
moving in real time, it's interactive.
But they do have some like science simulations in there, they have math stuff and all kinds of goodies.
But when you're done to formally make a mix, you need to click Upload to Office Mix. And then that will say, okay, I'm going to prepare this, and you go through the prompts. It'll have you sign in, and then it'll put it on your Office Mix page.
And we do not expect you to be skilled or in this. We're going to work on it more next week.
But the nice thing about this is if you've used PowerPoint in your classroom in the past, you have that information. You don't have to rebuild your PowerPoint. All you have to do is record over it, throw in a few multiple choice questions, and you have something interactive.
It's amazing.
Mind blown, right?
Yeah, but I think
So
I
a
need one
mix,
special day for it.
Yep, and I'll be
Yeah.
happy to do that. Let me know when you want to sit down, and I'll go over it with you.
No, we'll make sure.
I just wanted to put this out there.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Yes.
so if you do the video,
Mhm.
you do not have to upload to Mix.
Correct.
But if you add in like any of the stuff from the
Yes, that's not going to work in a video.
quizzes, video apps.
Yep, if you're adding any of these quizzes and video apps, it would have to be saved as a mix. It won't play it.
To get the
And
data.
that is web-based.
Yes, yes.
Okay. We have taken up way too much of y'all's time because it's about 2:11. So let's go to the last slide, and then as we said, we'll be here tomorrow.
Join us.
Let me just be, I want you to be mindful, and these are gonna be posted other places besides this PowerPoint, because we want you to be sure writing on, you're literally writing an online textbook, but you want the online textbook to be comfortable for your reader, okay? You want them to feel your personality, so you want to make sure things are purposeful, make sure they're not too lengthy. I mean, Dave and I were talking about the World History 2 content. There's a lot, it is heavy with text, okay? That's not what we're about here. We're about engagement and students getting involved. You've got to plan for immediate feedback. Don't put it on there and expect them to go, oh, I didn't achieve 80%, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna move forward, or I am gonna move forward. You want to be able to be in tune with what's happening. Think about your word choice. Think about what delivery. You don't want everything to be the same. That's why Ashley was kind enough to start just showing us office mix and seeing what's out there. Make sure there's pictures. Kids don't enjoy just reading text, okay? You can get pictures from the resources of WHRO. Canvas is generous with pictures. When you play around, you'll find that there's actually a file of pictures. You can get things off the internet. Be engaging, be interactive. Goodness knows you don't want them sitting, even for 15 minutes really, without doing something that's going to cause them to actually react, okay, and actually do something. Be personalized. Make sure you are, and this will become more, make sure that with the personalization, it's not just personalization for you as a classroom, but it's also making sure that you're individualizing for each student. That's what the blessing of all this is that you, and I know you all know I have several children, so it's important to me every time they were in a class and a teacher was careful to make sure that Jordan got what she needed or Joy got what she needed in a different way, because all kids are unique. And then finally, yes, you will have to check spelling, okay? You're modeling good behavior, so make sure that you're actually looking at what you're writing. Make sure that it's readable, legible, and we are going to do, I was telling Kristen that we are going to do a lot of peer editing. We're going to make sure that our modules are stellar before we put them out there and publish them. So I do appreciate you. Before we close off though, if there's any major questions, keep in mind that we are having Camp Link 5 next week for 3 days. So you still have to wrap up this year. Yes?
Are we getting t-shirts?
Yeah, we are going to get important. I think we need to get them next week, so I got to work on that. We are getting t-shirts. Anything else?
I wanted to
That
very
was a major question.
quickly add, that was a major question. I'm glad I was here to know so then I can ask for my t-shirt. Where's my t-shirt? One thing to add, and you guys will do this during camp, I'm sure, next week, but in Canvas, when you create assignments and quizzes, you have the ability to only assign them to certain students. So when you do those pre-assessments and you have kids, you pull out for extra help on one topic or that don't need to do a certain topic, you can assign specific things to specific. So next week, you guys will be able to look at that, but know that that capability is in there, so you can personalize the lessons with what you have in there. And if you don't assign it to a student, then they don't see it. If you do, they do. So.
So with that, how does that work in the grade book?
Don't mention the grade book. We're going to not talk about that until after we get it. It's just because I think once you all are ready for us to understand how to view and
Yeah.
she mentioned.
If kids don't do an assignment, you just excuse your grade book. But
It's good. So your grade book is just a frontier that I don't want to bog you down.
yeah, that's gonna be.
Don't just think about it as your beautiful content.
I see all of the things at once. And then
You're just multi-dimensional, is that what it is?
And then I'm like,
Okay, all right, we're done.